So we're just going to break this down into sections of 100. So we're going to locate anything from 0 to 100, and we'll just put a red circle around it just to kind of show us where it's at. Then we're going to find anything between 100 and 200, and we're going to make that a different color just to designate that that's in a different range. So we'll go around and we will circle those, just checking to make sure we didn't miss any. Then we'll go from 200 to 300, and we'll put that in a different color. Okay, we're going to work around, find those. Okay, then 300 to 400. Make this top one. That's the only one. 400 to 500. We'll make this one pink. And then 500 to 600, we will make that purple. And that's a little too close. Yellow. And you can't really see it. Black. Okay. And then 600 to 700. We'll make this darker green. Okay. So contour lines cannot cross each other, and they have to be complete. They can't just dead end either. So we're going to work this from the, we'll say the smallest number to the biggest number. With the first line that we're going to make would be, we'll go with a 100 to start. We can't have 0 because these numbers are between 0 and 100. So 94 is pretty close to 100, and 150 is right here. So we're going to start with a line, and you know what? Rather than a line, we're going to create dots, and I probably have something that we could use. I'm going to just create a block here. Okay. So this block is going to represent the location where 100 crosses between these two. It's going to be a lot closer to 94, so we'll put that there. Oops. 41 to 195. So it's like 100, and you could kind of do a little bit of math here. 195 minus 41 is a difference of 154. And so then 100 divided by 154 is about 60% of the way through. So a little over halfway from 95 to 41. So we'll put that like kind of there. So for the sake of this working around, we need to also consider how far is it from the 238. So 94 to 248, we can go 238 minus 94. That's 144. And so then you can do, thinking here. No, I think I did that original math wrong. You'd have to go from 1 to the next? You'd almost have to build like a little ratio thing. So just to kind of draw it out here, what I'm doing. So you'd have 100 minus 94 over 100 minus 238 would be 6 divided by 100 minus 238 times 100. So that's about 4% of the way across. Okay, so you could draw a line from this point to this point. And visually, 4% is going to be pretty close to, or much closer to 94. So we'll say that. And I moved this one further out because this is going to be closer to 150 than it would be to 238. Okay. Same thing here, 41 to 238. Do this ratio again. Draw a line from here to here. Got 100 minus 41 divided by 100 minus 238. That's saying 40% the way across. So there's about the halfway point. We're going to bring it a little closer to 41.
Got it.
We need to keep going clear out to here, 350 to 41. So we got 100 minus 41 divided by 100 minus 350. So that's 25% of the way. Whoops. So that's something like that. And then here you would do the same thing.
Do you do the same thing all the way down to 458? Is that what you were just saying? Oh no,
yeah.
you do 94s too.
Right. So 350. I'm sorry, 100 minus 94 divided by 100 minus 350. So that's 2%. So that's like, again, why 94 is like really close to that naturally. So
right.
We'll hug that one in there. And then we would want to do this again, but for the sake of just kind of moving on, let's go ahead and clear some of these colors just to give us a little bit. And we're going to do a full loop around here. So we're going to draw this and it'll look kind of diagonal, triangular, if you will, for now, until we finish it out. So that's how you could get kind of specific. To move on kind of a little quicker from blue to green here, let's change this to blue. Okay, so 109, this is going to represent 200 here. So we'll say 200 or 228. That's probably going to be really close to 195.
Yeah.
Right, so that's 50 away. This is 235 away. So it's going to be a little bit closer to this one. Here.
Got it.
In there. Here, same thing. Those are about the same, but still 238 is closer than 150. So
right.
We'll say there's the line.
Okay.
It's where you kind of have like, there's not really a measurement in here, so that's where you have to almost like best guess it. But what we'll do here is we'll just kind of draw a line. It can't cross. It's not going to look like that. So it'll probably follow it like that.
Yeah, like okay. Yeah.
It's not come that close to 150. So we'll say it's a continuation here. And I'm adding a little bit more curvature in here, just because. So
sure. Would you have to do that between 150 and 350 there?
You would. I'm kind of trying, just like, I'm just best guessing it. And then here where you kind of have like this triangulation, really what's happening is it'll most likely, I'm going to end it there, but I'm going to drag like this one out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing here.
Yeah, you would eventually make those like curved, right?
Yeah. It'll have to be like that.
Got it.
Okay, we'll make this one blue to represent that that's the 200.
Perfect. So then once those are done, like the 100s and the 200s are done, I'm now moving on to like the green. So you're just moving outwards based on your original little like color schemes that you drew.
Yeah, so this is 180 away. This is 70 something away. So we're quite a bit closer here on the green. And since we don't know anything over here, we're just going to have to assume that it's generally following the same alignment as the blue until we get out to here where we know, okay, that's getting a little further away, but then we have to hug back in and kind of get closer to this because that's 350. So it probably hugs in there quite a bit, but then comes back out like something like that. And then this is where it's going to take kind of a turn around that, create, in a sense, a little ridge. We don't know what it's doing.
Those are both in the center. Those are both greens, and it has to go on the outside of those points.
Yeah, and we don't know, since there's not any information between these, we can't assume that it like comes in here or does anything like that.
Got it.
This is actually fairly close to 300 comparatively, so this could probably get pulled in a little closer. Okay, now we're going to 400s. So if that's 300 and that's 79, so this needs to be a little closer to that. And again, we don't know any information, so we're just going to have to assume that it follows.
Oh yeah, because this orange one is our only 300. So yeah, it's just got to go on the outside of all those.
But yeah, that's the only one that's going to be on the out or the inside of this one. So we'll just draw it something like. But now 400 is a little closer to 350 than it would be to 530. So that's where we've got a point of reference there. And typically whenever something gets pulled in like that, this one will also somewhat follow the pull and then the push around.
Yeah.
I guess technically you don't know that there's anything over here, but like I said, a contour has to continue. So
right.
That's because you don't know what's going on over here. Maybe you shouldn't assume that you have anything over there. So you could just say, well, then over here you have a little bit of a peak. So you could just kind of start it somewhere in here. And this is the 500. It's going to be a lot closer to this 530 than the 350. It's going to be a lot closer to the 580 than the 600. About splitting these.
Right.
Close to that, and then that.
So how did you know with those ones over there to make a whole separate circle rather than having it keep going around?
We don't have anything over here showing that there's any 500s over here. So it could be that there is, it looks like this is coming up, but it might not get to 500. So we shouldn't
Right.
necessarily assume. We could, but we shouldn't assume that
Right.
data over here.
Got it. Okay.
And then 600, you'd have
Essentially a little circle around that.
yeah, and just like knowing topography, this is kind of a weird looking thing. Typically, what you would see